Today, we are going to talk about how to set up a garden outside so that you can grow cut flowers. I think a lot of people are overcomplicating this, overthinking this, because if you've got some soil, if you've got some ground, you can grow flowers. Okay, when it comes to growing flowers outside, I feel like the good ground does a great job on that. In fact, I always love getting my plugs out of the cells and actually planted into the ground because I'm like, okay, now you're going to go. Now you are going to thrive. Everything is going to be good. Okay. The ground gives so much more than what maybe your potting soil would give or your fertilizers. Anyways, they just thrive when they hit the ground. And I think about people who are growing outside, and even if they have sand, and if you can give it enough water, those plants are going to grow and be just fine. I think that a lot of people look at the space where they're going to grow cut flowers and they're just like, what should I do? How should I set this up? And it's because we're online and we're seeing everybody build these beautiful raised beds. I mean, literally, they're building boxes and they're filling them with soil and they're going to all these extravagant levels because they're convinced that something's wrong with their soil and they just want to start with some nice loose dirt. But here's the thing, nothing can beat the ground. And you would really have to, like, unless you're growing on rock, like you've got like 6 inches of soil and then it's a rock layer. But here I've got areas where I have sand, I have areas where it's very high clay, but all of it grows something. And the number one rule is to just simply constantly be adding back to the soil debris, anything, like literally anything. Like if I'm weeding and it doesn't have a ton of weed seeds on it, I throw that down on the ground and I let that just die and decompose. I can add different types of mulches. Um, just add stuff. When you add organic material all of the time and over time, that's going to build your soil. And when you add that and it decomposes, the microorganisms, they eat that and they release the nutrients of whatever it is into your soil. So I wouldn't worry about all the things of bricks levels and things like that. Yeah, you can get into that, but I just don't want you to get any roadblocks in your head like, oh, this soil isn't good enough. Because what your soil might be lacking, you can make up with some foliar feeding. Okay. And foliar feeding is just like, well, I'm going to mix up some kelp and some fish emulsion into this water and spray it on my plants with a pump sprayer. Or if you're bigger and you have the four-wheeler and you have a spray pack on it, all of those things you can supplement when the soil isn't maybe as nutritious as you would want. But to be honest, start with just the ground. If you start with raised beds where people are building these boxes, you're going to have a like I feel like that's going to put you off a little bit because you have to build the bed and then you have to fill it with soil and they take a lot more soil than you would ever think. And so then you're like, okay, am I getting my husband involved or, you know, and what do I have to wait for that? When literally you can walk outside anywhere, pick the ground and just start gardening. So you basically choose a spot, okay, in your garden. And lots of people will choose this and they'll draw out raised beds and do all of that. It is so much fun to do that on grid paper. But here's the two choices you have. I think the main question is, well, should I do single rows? Okay. Very traditional. This would be a very traditional garden. Like you're going to lay down one line of drip. Well, you would till the whole area. Well, first of all, let me say, okay, are you going to lay down black plastic? Okay. And kill this for a month before you come and work on it? Okay. Let's start with plastic. Or are you going to try Roundup and just kill it? Okay. Are you going to, maybe not, this is huge, and you're just going to edge out the sod and pull it out, and then you have everything under it ready to go? I guess I'm just going to say remove sod. All of this is removing sod. Okay, whether you use your hands, whether you use Roundup, whether you use plastic, all of that. You literally, if this is just lawn or a field, if this was a field of quack grass, I would say you have a problem. Like you need to kill that for an entire season before you come and work in that. In fact, I would up that ante. I would say if this was quack grass, I would do a couple things. Number one, I might put pigs in there for a season because they will dig around, root it up, and eat all those roots. Because perennial or quack grass is perennial, and when you break it up, yay, we're just gonna have a party. We're gonna have a grass party, and we're gonna grow all over. I hate quack grass. I hate anything like that. So you could put in pigs, and then when the pigs were done, you could cover it with the plastic. And so there's just so much there's so many possibilities that you could do with this little plot that you've chosen.